Well, hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. Getting ready to record today's Mike in the Midwest. So let's get this thing going. So 264. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 264 of Mike in the Midwest, our mini podcast for the amazing patrons just like you of the Be Our Guest podcast. Of course, my name is Mike Rallman, host of the Be Our Guest podcast, which you can find at beourguestpodcast.com or any place you download fine podcasts. I hope you're having a great weekend. It is Sunday morning, September 21st, 2025. In case you're listening to the show down the line, which is a great thing about podcasts, you can listen to these whenever you like. You can listen to them right away or years later. That's what I do. Sometimes when I catch up with one of my favorite shows, I'll go back and listen to a favorite episode that may be a little bit evergreen years and years later. It's like a little time capsule. One of the great things about podcasts, you can go back and see what was happening at that point in time and kind of just see how things were. It's a fun thing to do with shows. Maybe you do that, maybe you don't. Let me know. I like to do that with some of my old shows. It's kind of fun to go back even a decade and just hear, because you're hearing exactly what people thought at that moment, and it's frozen in time. Podcasts are unique like that, so I do that, and it's fun when the podcaster does drop the date into the show, because it doesn't happen often. So I try to drop the date in Mike in the Midwest here so that it is like timestamps. You don't have to go back and try to find it in the metadata. But yeah, September 21st, 2025. It's a beautiful day here in St. Charles County. 74 degrees and sunny right now outside the window of our broadcast studio in our lovely home. So anyway, hope you're doing well wherever the show finds you, down in Texas, maybe in Maine, maybe down in Australia, maybe over in Japan. That's a great thing about podcasting as well. It's worldwide. Does not discriminate. So hopefully you're having a great Sunday morning. If you're tuned in, I see some people watching live on YouTube. Hopefully you're having a great one. We are here. We're going to spend some time here, about 25 minutes for the bonus show for our patrons. Again, thank you for supporting us here on Patreon. That keeps the Be Our Guest podcast going. And I can't thank you enough for that. Try to let you know that very much. It means a lot to the show. Pam, Ricky, and Scott and myself will get to keep the show going because of your support. So thank you so much for that. Hope you're enjoying the podcast over there on the big show. I will say, for some reason, that Friday show about snacks around Epcot, man, that thing caught fire. We had tons of downloads Friday and yesterday, especially for a Saturday. We usually, Saturday shows, usually on Saturdays, the shows, kind of taper off because it's the weekend. Nobody's, downloading podcasts. People are away from, their jobs. We had more downloads on a Saturday than we've had in years. I don't know what it was. Maybe people were bored. Who knows? Maybe people needed snacks at Epcot. I don't know. It was crazy Saturday yesterday, and Friday was good too. So I don't know if it was the combination of people like snacking at Epcot or people were bored. But hey, we'll take it. So if you ever have a suggestion for a show as well, just let me know. Mike at beourguestpodcast.com, or come over to the clubhouse. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me and get a hold of everybody, because this is our show. This is everybody's podcast. So come on over, get in on the conversation. You have a suggestion for a show, just come over to the clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. And we have a channel there called Current BOGP Discussion. And just jump in there and say, hey, we should do this for a show. And I appreciate that, because after 2,800 podcasts, it gets a little hard to find unique ideas for podcasts. We've done a lot of them. So anyway, hope you're having a great week. What's happening here around the podcast studios? Busy. It's football cheer season. We had a couple football games. Friday night, we had a good football game where we won 48-0. Francis Howell Vikings. That was fun. Crosstown rivals against our Francis Howell North brethren. So that was a good game up until it wasn't. Walking back to the car, we'll talk about that in just a minute. And then that's going to be the big topic, by the way. And then last night, we had a Mizzou football game where we played South Carolina, which has become a big rivalry, at least here in this house. It's kind of a rivalry for the state of Missouri lately. In the last little bit, we're not big fans of South Carolina sports in general. It's kind of a rivalry because there's two Columbias. There's Columbia, South Carolina. There's Columbia, Missouri, where our Missouri Tigers are based. And the SEC has tried to make a rivalry out of that because there's two Columbias. Like, which one's the real Columbia? Of course, it's Columbia, Missouri. But we have this thing called the Mayor's Cup, where whoever wins that game each year gets this big cup. It's pretty cool looking, kind of like the Piston Cup. You did what? So it's one of these, right? Everybody's was trying to make a rivalry, right? And we've had some great games. The games are usually really close, and no exception last night was a good game. But we came out on top 29-20, and it went back and forth. It was a super close game, but it was fun because we won. And it came down to this freshman kicker that made a kick that I didn't think he was going to make, so it was good. And and also, I don't want to talk sports a ton, but I just got to say, I've talked about last year about Cody Schrader, this kid who was from St. Louis, who was a walk-on, who just was a great running back because he had heart. Holy cow. This is why I love being a fan of my team. Okay, not only are we just we're in the heart of the country, right? We're Mizzou. We're not UC, and UCLA is terrible. We're not USC. We're not Michigan. We're not, these schools that get all the love every year. Notre Dame, there's certain schools that are just going to, they're like the blue bloods, Alabama. And I'm an Alabama fan, but I mean, there's schools that, just they get the love every year. We're not one of those teams. We got to earn it every year. It's like our slogan is STP, something to prove every year. But we have this kid as a running back that we got from some little bitty school. I think it was Louisiana Tech. His name's Ahmad Hardy. Little dude, but he's got these huge legs. And he is just killing it at running back this year. You cannot tackle this guy. He's leading the SEC. He's got almost twice as many rushing yards as the second place guy. He gets he runs the ball. People go to tackle him. He just runs people over. I mean, just demolishes people. And he's polite. He's in his interviews. And that's one thing. Here's how I know I'm getting older, by the way. Here's another Mike in the Midwestism for the show. I'm driving home last night by myself in the car. We'll talk about that in a minute too, from the football game. And it's about a 2-hour drive home from the football game. So we have about 2 hours from Columbia. And of course, I'm listening to the pregame or the postgame after the show on the way home. And they're interviewing all the players, because I listen to the post-game show and the post-game show. There's a ton of post-game shows. It goes forever, because there's the one from the stadium, then there's one from the locker room. It goes forever. But they're interviewing all the players. And I realize that I am getting older, because I'm almost I'm getting super happy in the car. And I'm like, this is my team. And when I was in the stadium and I'm screaming at the quarterback from, South Carolina, get them, or, they're holding us, I'm being a football fan for 3 hours when I'm in the stadium, previous, the couple hours before, he's out of bounds. Well, I'm all football. When I'm driving home, I'm like, this is my team. And the reason why that's my team, Mizzou, is because I'm hearing these interviews and they're like, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And they're speaking well, and they're polite, and they're listening. They seem like they're good people. They seem like they're respectful, our players. And maybe that's the old person in me. Maybe that's just what I like, but these guys are out there. I mean, they're running through people an hour ago. I mean, they're just smoking these linebackers when they hit them, and the defenders are just wiping this quarterback out, and hitting, tackling people. I would not want to get hit like this. They're hurting people, but then when they're getting interviewed, they're super polite, they're super respectful, So it's a violent game, but there's also a level of respect and sportsmanship that is being taught on this team. And that makes me proud to be associated with this squad. And I'm sure that's true of a lot of teams, most teams, I'm sure. But when you hear it come from your team, you kind of feel like, yeah, I want to be behind that team. And I hope it's that way for every team. I hope if you're a Michigan fan, I hope that's a way, your team, when you hear the post-game interviews, that's how you feel about your team. Nebraska, Arizona State, whatever it is, Iowa. I hope you feel exactly the same way. Yeah, this is just the team I listen to and I've rooted for my entire life. But I mean, that's exactly how a fandom should be. That when you get behind them, you say, wow, that makes me proud to be a fan, because it's not only the wins and losses, it's how the entire team, how the fandom carries themselves, how they're depicted. I'm not embarrassed for a kid to hear Ahmad Hardy get interviewed on TV because he's so polite. Like, I'd want a kid to emulate him. If I had a son, like you want to be polite like that, gentle, like that kid. You know, it just made me feel good that somebody is teaching them, and it starts with the parents. It's not the people at Mizzou, but that starts at the home. And that makes me happy that we're going out and recruiting kids that are polite, that are it's all good is what I'm saying. Like, driving home, I felt good that I'm a Mizzou fan because of the respect that I was hearing on the radio through these interviews. So I was super happy about that. And sometimes I think that's overlooked. I don't know. Maybe your thoughts on that. Okay. So that was what was happening there. So let's hit the feedback, because this show can't be too long because I got a lot to do today. And I'll tell you why in just a second. I'm going to ask for some grace over the next couple of weeks. And I'll tell you why I'm going to ask for some grace in just a minute, because we got to roll with the punches. That's the name of this show, this title. So let's hit the feedback on Potlucks, where I don't think you guys extended grace. At least Trisha. Let's go to her feedback. She says, we are enjoying a slightly less humid second summer, not quite 111 degrees. We don't have season Badger tickets, but we do make it to a football game. But when I do make it to a football game, I stay until the bitter end, because win or lose, the band takes the field for the fifth quarter and plays a series of songs that they've been playing since the dawn of time. Yeah, I did not make it last week, and until then it was so hot. Now, last night it was awesome. Like, it was a night game, and it was like 78 at kick. It was perfect. So God came back to us yesterday. It was beautiful. I mean, also 6:00 kicks are way better than, was it a noon kick last week? Oh, so much nicer. Back to Trisha. When you were talking about what it would be like to have watched lunar launches, that made me think of the scene in Spaceship Earth with the shag carpet and the terrarium. By the way, that's the one prop I would take. Out of all the scenes in that attraction, that is the one I wish I could have been part of, which raises the question, what scene in Spaceship Earth would you want to be in? That's the one. That's it. Trisha, I'll be sitting right next to you. That's the scene. July 20th, 1969. And continuing on, all caps from Trisha, no potlucks. I know too much about food safety. Visibly shudders. I swear the luck refers to eating at your own risk. Also, you brought shame to your family if you showed up to a potluck with packaged desserts. My family forgot about a team potluck dinner, brought packaged cookies from the grocery store, and then put them in a Tupperware to disguise them as homemade. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Yeah, I guess knowledge is not a good thing in those things. I don't think too much. Did I mention this on the show? Like, when we go out to eat, Pam will like study her silverware. Like, she looks at it to see how the cleanliness of the silverware, and she's always asking for new silverware. I don't look. I just eat, like, because it's probably going to be dirty, and you're probably going to get dirty silverware when it gets replaced. And I'm not. You just can't think too much. Like, if you think too much, you're going to drive yourself crazy, I think. So, like, we go Texas Roadhouse or Ellis Teca, dude. Your body has a lot of immunity. You're going to be fine, dude. And once you put it in those beans, or once you put it into the mashed potatoes, you're probably going to be okay. I don't know. I don't think too much. I've made it this far. I don't know. That's Pam and I have different philosophies on those things. She looks at it. I'm like, I don't want to know. I just don't look. But I love Trisha. That's funny about that. And when I taught sixth grade, so again, I taught for 17 years. So the rules changed. Like, while I was teaching, when I first started teaching, we used to have like huge potlucks in my classroom. And when I first started teaching, there was like no like locks on the doors. So we taught in this building, Pam and I. Pam taught at the very last classroom, and there was our building had pods. So she had the very end classroom at the hall. So she could prop the door. And it was hot. We didn't have air conditioning when we first started teaching. So we'd leave the indoor just propped open to get a breeze. This is how bad it was. Like anybody could have walked in that school for the first 5 years we taught there. So we'd leave the last door open to cause a breeze in the hall. And so anytime there was a birthday, I remember Colton was one of in my first class, Colton, and his grandma made the best dip. Like it was nacho dip. It was in a pot. It was in a crock pot. And sometimes she would add like meat to it. And she would bring it up like once a month for the class and with a bunch of bags of chips, like at the end, like on the last Friday of the month. And I'd be like, Colton, is your grandma going to bring up some of that dip and the chili dip? And he'd be like, I'll ask her. I'd ask him on a Thursday, like the Thursday before the last Friday. He'd be like, I'll ask her. And she'd show up at that side door. I just let her in because my door was 2 down because I was next door to Pam's class. And man, but it grew like, and then another person would bring something else. We'd have a whole full on potluck at like, by December, January. And my kids loved it. I loved it. I'd bring all the drinks and the paperware and stuff. And then the kids would be like, well, I'll bring something. We had crock pots and those like silver throwaway, things you make like brownies in, the aluminum things. Friday afternoons rocked in my classroom. It was a potluck. And then after a while, you could only serve, like prepackaged stuff. Forget that. I didn't care. I said, now, if you tell, we can't do this. Do you want the good food? Nobody got sick, I don't think. All right. And Paul says, gotta love Grandpa Charles. Don't talk politics or religion. That's what he said. Wise man. Did he also teach you to love Mexican food and Dairy Queen? No, my grandpa didn't really like Mexican food. And I did love Dairy Queen, though. Love the potluck episode. Have to say to all the potluck haters out there, isn't life a potluck? Oh my God, that's so true. Before you found all the foods you love now, you had to try them for the first time. You make some, you miss some, but the only shot you're guaranteed to miss is the one you don't take. Also, after an emotional episode, I speak for myself and I thank all the BOGP family. We love you too, Mike. Have the best week. We love you too, Paul. Thank you so much. Oh, and let's see here. Oh my gosh, it's today. Oh my gosh, today is the 21st day of September. Do you remember? Thanks, Fulton. I didn't even realize that. I'll have to use that tonight during the show. Thanks. Fulton saved the day there. And Vern says, my dad was always bringing in food for the teachers and snacks for the kids, just randomly chicken parm, macaroni, salad, water. Yes. Okay. So there you go. I mean, Vern's dad would have been perfect in my classroom because the door was always open if you're bringing in food. You didn't have to ask. Like just because I had I had a sink in my classroom and this big table next to the sink, and dude, it had plugs. And it was so bad that I bought an extra extension cord and got Velcro and put it there so we could have more. So we could have more crock pots. That's how bad I was. That's how bad it was. Like 2 plugs were not enough. We had to have like 8. It was crock pot alley. Anyway, if you have feedback for that, that was my legacy of teaching, or any episode of this, it's patreon.com/BRGuest podcast. All right, let's get to today's topic. Got to make it quick because I have a lot I got to get done today, even more than normal because we have to roll the punches. So I told you it's good football weekend, right? We had one of those shows about a month ago where you have one of those perfect weekends, right? Your football team rocks. You have great weather. We've had great weather this weekend. I mean, it's nice. It's like I said, 74 and sunny. It says right here on the toolbar. Francis Howell rolled on Friday night, 48-0. 48-0. Let's go. Mizzou, 29-20 over South Carolina. We're 4-0. Man, can't beat that. Let's go. Having a good weekend. So, things pretty good. And, I'm one that I always find the optimism things and everything. I try to, my life's great, way better than I ever deserve. I mean, I say that every day. Like I have so many friends here in the clubhouse, listen to the show. I get to do a podcast. I mean, hello, this is the best thing ever. Like this is my toy. Like this is I love doing this podcast. I love it. I mean, I haven't missed a show since 2008, knock on wood, because I love doing this show. It's so much fun for me, and I'm just glad that you guys get to support it and get to listen to you take the time to listen to the show because you don't have to. and you do, and it makes I'm truly appreciative that you take the time to do that. So anyway, what happened Friday? So, long story short, of course, Mallory's a cheerleader, right? We have a cheerleading squad of about 25 girls. And one of the things, this is my idea, this gets, I'm always coming up, I'm like an idea guy, right? So this goes back to last year. Last year for homecoming, well, the cheerleaders are in charge of a bunch of stuff, right? For the spirit squad. One of the things we're in charge of is homecoming t-shirts. Every year they sell t-shirts during homecoming week that have, like the school logo, like a homecoming logo, and on the back it has all the football players' names and the cheerleaders' names. And we sell them during the homecoming week, and everybody wears them to the homecoming football game. All high schools do this, right? Across the country. And we sell them like at the middle schools and all that stuff. Well, we bought way too many shirts last year. I mean, way too many. And then it rained and we couldn't sell them like at the junior Vikings games at the complex the week before. We ended up with way too many shirts. I mean, hundreds too many shirts that we didn't sell. And they've been sitting in our garage all year. So we have to get rid of these things. So plan. We got to shoot them into the student section this year just to give them away, just to get rid of them. So I'm like, well, instead of just throwing them, we need to get those big rubber band things like slingshot shooters like they have at the sporting events. I don't know if you've seen them. Now they do this at like Mizzou. They do this at the Cardinals games where like two cheerleaders will hold the big rubber band thing and then one pulls it back and it's like a big slingshot. It goes when it launches them. Yeah. I'm like, this is more fun. Now, really what I wanted was like the hot gun cannon, but we don't have a budget for that. We had budget for like 5 of these slingshot things. So Pam gets all the shirts. She's been rolling them up with these, super tight and these like little bullets, like just, they got to be tight or else they won't fly. So we've been rolling those up. They're on the couch. We do like 50 in a bag each week. They're like in these little lemon bags. We dish out to the cheerleaders with a slingshot thing in each bag. So you got your bullets, you got your slingshot bag, you're ready to go. And then actually the girls had to practice this at the end of practice one night in the gym because they did not know how to operate the slingshots. And they were dinking them off the roof like after they stunned it. This was the whole thing because they could not figure out the technique, but finally they did. So long story short, we've been doing this. By the way, the first couple times were awesome because the girls they were not great at it. Like they shot them so far, they went flying all the way over the grandstand, hit the parking lot. Like they shot them so hard. I mean, didn't even go to the fans, like whoop, right over the fans because those things will go a mile. I mean, right over into the parking lot. Last game, the girl didn't shoot it high. Like you got to aim them up, like so they get a little arc to them. She shot the thing just, direct. I mean, it was like shooting, like if you go to the carnival and you're shooting ducks off that like game where you knock the duck down, or like you shoot the fuzzy, like you throw the baseball and you knock the fuzzy little Indian guy down. She almost, because it was junior Viking night, she shot the thing and the thing was coming in so hot because it was like a direct line. It was like, phew, I thought it was going to kill the kid. Like, she put no trajectory on it. It was a line drive. And that thing was coming in sizzling. I'm like, oh my God, somebody tell that girl she's got to put an arc on it. She's got to shoot it up so it comes down on the grandstand, not just like directly shoot it at some 6-year-old kid that's going to knock his head off. But that thing came in hot. Anyway, yeah, it's a whole scene. These girls, not a lot of experience on the t-shirt shooters. Anyway, so this whole happens, right? So we still had a ton of t-shirts left. We're bringing all the excess back to the car. Well, we're old, so we carry these. We have, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but we have the bleacher buddies, like the chairs that sit on top of the bleachers that give you the backs and make your seats a little bit more comfortable in the bleachers. So you have like a back and a cushy seat. So I'm carrying each one of those. They're kind of heavy. And we park all the way around the other side of the school so we can get out because the traffic is horrible after the game because you get pinned in by the school if you park right by the football field. So we park all the way around the back side of the school. So we're the first ones by the exit. Now, the problem is they're doing all kinds of construction at the high school because they're tearing down the old part of the high school. They're demolishing it right now. So there's like construction fences up. They're re-blacktopping the parking lot. It looks like a horror movie, like on the side where we're parked. So it's all a mess. We're walking back to the car, and I get a little bit ahead of Pam. She's carrying the bag, Lululemon bags. I'm carrying the 2 seats, one in each hand. And I stop and I'm like, oh my gosh, because here's a curb coming up and it's really dark. And so I stop and I'm like, I will make sure, Pam sees this curb. A girl, a little junior Vikings cheerleader, sees Pam and she knows she's the girl with the shirts, right? She's like, "Oh, Pam," or she doesn't know it's Pam, but she comes up to her. She's like, "Can I get one of those shirts?" And Pam, will never turn a kid down. Sure, sure. She turns around, gives her a shirt out of the bag, and when she turns back around, they're resurfacing the lot with blacktop, and there's a big lip, and she turns around, boom, hits that lip, twists her ankle, breaks her ankle, like goes down, boom, like that. And I mean, it was bad. Like you could tell, broken. So, and Pam has super high tolerance for pain, but dude, just bad. Like the other knees all bloody, the ankles messed up. But fortunately, like we have good people around here. This young guy, he's got a family relative, he's got a little baby in the back seat. He's got a big old pickup. He's like, "Ma'am, you okay?" Everybody came around quickly because she fell pretty hard. But our car is still pretty far away. We're only about halfway to our car. So I'm like, crap, how are we gonna get to the car? Because she can't walk. And Mallory, she had already gone to her car. She's already driving home because she had left with her cheerleader friends because we were helping take down banners and stuff. And so this guy in his pickup's like, "Well, I can get you to your car. Like, I got a pickup." And so thank God for strangers, right? Just the helpfulness of strangers. We'll know who this guy was. He was a parent of a football player that didn't get in the game. We found out, but he helps me and like get Pam. The funny thing is though, his truck was so big because he lives out in New Melly, out in the country part of our district. It's jacked up so high, like it's hard for her to even get in the truck, like into the passenger seat, because it's like a big truck. It's like a big Ram, like I don't know, like just a big Ram pickup. But she got in there. He drove her out there, got her in the car, and she's just been chilling. She went to the ER, the urgent care yesterday, got some X-rays, and yeah, it's broken, and she's gonna go to the orthopedist tomorrow and figure out what the plan is for that. But yeah, you just got to roll with punches, right? Because everything was going great. We're having a great weekend. Football's going well, but now everything's changed. But it's okay because behind the scenes, I don't know if you know this, but Pam does everything. Like she goes to the grocery store, she does all the laundry, she does all the driving. For example, let me just give you a little behind the scenes. When we go to Mizzou football games, I work in the back seat on the way to Columbia and on the way home. That's kind of how our arrangement is. Like, because I have to work to keep up with my client load, I have to work going there and coming back. So I sit in the back seat and I work on my laptop and do my emails and so forth, going there and going back. So thank goodness for my buddy Ben Lappin over at the Magic for Less. He covered for me yesterday because Mallory was cheering on the field at Mizzou yesterday with her cheer squad. Like they had the stunt camp, and it culminated with a performance right before the game at Mizzou yesterday, which of course we were both planning on seeing her because she just got accepted to Mizzou. She's all excited. And of course we try to go to all of our girls' events. So Pam obviously can't go to Mizzou because it's a ton of walking. I don't know if you ever gone to like a college football game, but like we have a parking pass, but our parking pass is about a half a mile from the stadium. I mean, it is far. Like it's a far walk. You can't park close to the stadium. You just can't. And our seats, even in the stadium, are like bajillion steps down. I mean, and they're steep steps. There's no way. There's no way. And so she had to stay home. So like we always say divide and conquer sometimes, right? As parents. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to Mizzou. I mean, big sacrifice, right? But I went there. Pam stayed home, watched a game on TV. We're texting the whole time. And Mallory went with her cheer squad, and she was very kind. She came down and saw me in our seats because she sat with her cheer squad, but she came down and got a couple pictures, which melted my heart as a dad. I was like so happy that she came to see me. and she dropped off her Poms so I could take them home so she didn't have to carry them. I did that. But yeah, so this next couple months, who knows how it's going to look. But the thing is, I got uh, I have a lot more on my plate, but it's okay. It's opportunity to grow. I haven't gone to the grocery store. I mean, this sounds terrible, but she does that. Like, she's always done that for me because I'm always working. So I'm probably gonna go to the grocery store today. Haven't done that in ages. Probably gonna do the laundry. I don't usually do the laundry, but it's an opportunity to grow, right? So I think that life and God give you things to challenge you and to grow in a relationship, right? Because maybe I didn't appreciate everything that she does. And she's super good to me because she does those things so that I can do these things like this, so that I can do the podcast, so that I can enjoy the things that I do. She sacrifices a lot so that I can do the things that I do. So now it's time for me to sacrifice for her so that she can get better. So if the shows, I mean, the shows are still going to be there, I promise you, because I love you guys and I want to give you the best show possible. That's not going to change. But this is my place where I can tell you guys who support us at the highest level, that are the most compassionate and the most passionate about our podcast. I just want to give you a heads up with what's happening because it's all like in the last like 36 hours. But yeah, so opportunity to grow, and that's how I'm looking at it. I always try to look at things optimistically, but that's where I am. So I got to get out of here because I got to run to Deerbergs. I'm going to run and try to get her a Jimmy, because on Sundays our thing is always to get Jimmy John's for lunch. That's kind of our little tradition. I know we're real fancy, but she always gets a Little John. That's her little thing. She likes to get a Little John for Sunday, so I'm going to try to surprise her with that. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So hope you're having a great. So what can you always try to find an opportunity in a challenge? Like, I'm not going to be bitter about this, and she's got the challenge, not me, but I want to support. Because I think it'll be if you can support each other, the challenge that she'll have will be a lot easier. I want to make the burden on her a lot as easy as possible because she always makes everything as easy as possible on me. So it's my turn to return the favor. So what are your thoughts on that? I hope you have some. So I appreciate y'all and hope you're having a great weekend. So until we talk again, live show tonight. So join us for that, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. So you guys stay safe, watch the curbs, stay healthy, watch those ankles, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you, Vern. I appreciate you guys, Jason. You guys are the best. I'll talk to you tonight. Bye-bye.